Okay. Well,
Okay, so I can
hello,
share
everyone.
my screen, yes?
Yeah, let's start.
Okay,
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. It's Analyst Talk 6, and we are today going to talk about the data in business. So I'm Nijat. You got all let's say invitation from me about the community and Prana's hub and about our meetings till now. And yes, and now we met in this meeting. Today our guest is Stara. Stara, she's working as a model validator in Pasha. So she will talk today about to us about the data and how the history of it, how we can use it, types of it, and all the details about it. And thank you very much for Stara for joining, for coming, and for accepting my invitation. And yeah, let's start.
okay. Um, Hello, guys, and thank you for joining today to this presentation about data and risk. First of all, I want to speak about little about myself. I am a data scientist and model validator in Pasha Holding right now. I have relevant experiences in business analytics and data analytics in ABB in my previous job. And today I'm going to share my insights about data and how it's related to risk, business, and life and everything around us. And to inform you what I have learned from my experience and education about it. So what is data? I'm sure that you have heard about the discussion is mass an invention or it is a discovery. I think the same thing is applied to data as well. I always doubt that if it is a discovery or it's an invention, and I think that I have found the answer by thinking about the first human beings in the world. First of all, it is important to understand the life itself in order to understand the data and the risk, because data is a representation, is the real life and the world around us, also the math and the statistics. Data exists because we want it to exist, because it is a human need as other things. During the evolution, only necessary functionalities and necessary things survived. Data also is one of them. Data survives today because we need it during our lives. What is data not? What is not data actually? We always have some problems in definition when we think about the data. When we try to name data, we always remind the spreadsheets, charts, programming languages, hard tools, and maybe computers and this kind of things. We usually think about the IT, but data actually is not this IT thing that we always remember when we hear about data. Data is very usual thing, actually, very simple. Data shouldn't be boring spreadsheets. Actually, it is interesting. And what is interesting to you, it is data for you. For example, when you want to choose a great present for your family member's birthday or your friend's birthday, you use your previous data. It shouldn't be written on paper or stored in your computer. It's just in your memory, in your brain. You remember some facts about your friends. You know that, for example, she loves cakes with strawberries or cakes with chocolates. She or he likes, for example, cars, other things, or maybe headphones, and you choose a great present for him or her just using the data in your brain about your loved ones. How is data created? Of course, as everything in the world, data is also has its own history. Remember your very beginning of life. Of course, it is a little bit hard to remember the first days of our life. when we just newborn. But it's like this: we are in an unknown world, and we try to understand what's happening around. There are so many things to learn. There are so many things happening. We trying to know so many people. First of all, we know our parents, and they introduce us, our relatives of us. But why we should learn about it? Why we try to discover something and learn about the world around us?
We are like, empty database. We just collect
Yeah.
when we're a child, and then when in university, in school, like not university,
Yeah.
in school, we start to use it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, actually, it is like that. I don't remember which philosopher it was, but I remember the word tabula rasa, that's describing the first human brain, when he just born to the world, and we just writing that tabula rasa something while we are growing. But why we should do this? Why we are learning? Why human is something like trying to learn around the world? Because we have some instinct of surviving. It is an innate thing that when we born to the unknown world, we don't know anything about the world, but we know just one thing, that we should survive. We should survive and continue our lives. And that's why we learn about the world, because we protect ourselves from all the risks around us, all the threats. And actually, threats mean to die for human. Instinctively, it means to die, and we don't want to die. We want to live as long as possible. So we learn about the risks. Yes. So we need some safe space, safe life conditions, and we try to find it. And how we began to use it? Actual first humans in the world, they just learned about dangerous animals or edible fruits around, and they tried to find caves to live. And it is a little bit data-driven decision making for this. They faced an undesirable issue, and they learned that, okay, it may kill people. We just keep ourselves away from this. Or they found that something is edible. They learned from it, and they said that, okay, we decide to eat it to survive. It is a data-driven. It's the first data-driven decision making, actually. So we had data at the first day of the world, but we haven't digitalized it. At least we try to digitalize it for the recent centuries. But how we did began, we first of all used our hands and gestures and voices to give information around people around us, because we do not always protect only ourselves. We always try to protect our families, friends around us, and first human beings also tried to protect their families, their tribes, and they transferred, they send that data around themselves with hands gestures or some voices. But it was hard to remember and hard to share, because for long distances we couldn't share information, we couldn't store it for next generations, and people invented drawing, like in Gobustan. They drawn some pictures there, and actually it is also the main goal was to survive. It's also about surviving.
when we talk or when we just show, we may forget, but when we write,
Yeah.
it stays. It stays, and
Yeah.
you can come back and to check it.
Yeah, actually, they also remembered that data in this way, like with drawing their pictures in the caves. And it still took a lot of time, because drawing is a hard process, a long process. It has too many details, and people, the human beings, the first human beings discovered that they don't have a lot of time, especially at the time of the risk, at the time of the some undesirable process. They hadn't time to draw so much things. They should invent something that very easy to write. They invented the letters and numbers that we today call alphabet and symbols. And that systematic set of symbols made it a little bit easier to share and to remember the data. But still, it was hard to compute. People invented numbers, but they don't know how to sum up all the information, all that numbers, and know the total number. They invented some tools, for example, abacus for easy counting, and then it was getting more and more advanced. However, still it was impossible to store because that the calculating tools calculated something, but they couldn't store information, or at least too much information. People then invented first computers. First computers was analog computers, and then digital computers that uses the binary language to store all the information. Even the computer, the word of computer comes from the word compute, means that summing up numbers. So that is the history of digitalization of the data, and today we store data in our computers very easily. But we also still use old ways of storing data, even if we have computers to store our data, but still we use our brains to remember something, or still we write on paper, and still we use non-alphabetical methods of writing, or we sometimes draw something to remember without writing.
It takes time to remember, to come, to process it, remember, come to conclusion. Still,
Yeah.
but I think
Yeah.
AI helps there.
Yeah, and we also use ChatGPT, and it helps us to remember, to actually generate great ideas with discussion. Actually, it is a pattern here. We understand the outside world because human brain actually works like seeing something. It remembers what it saw. We, for example, see a tree and we understand that it is a tree. It is easy to understand tree rather than reading it from a paper. And it is easy to remember a tree with its image rather than the word structure. And we understood images. We write easier with letters, systematic letters and symbols, and it is very easy to store data in digitalized method with computers with that binary language, but the binary language is hard to read, and we cannot even understand it. It's hard to read, and that's why we again stored our data in computers in this binary way, but we somehow projected it in alphabetical structure to read it, but in backup it is still binary, but we see it in alphabetical, and we write it in that way. We make our inputs in that way, and we use charts and graphs with data visualization to understand it, because our brain is still actually image-oriented thing, and it understands while seeing the things rather than reading them.
And plus, I think visualization helps to summarize.
Yeah.
And it makes it easy to summarize like much data in one place, so you can see and understand, rather than sheets,
Yeah, actually, in the real world, we see one object, for example, one tree, but with the computer, with digitalized data, we can collect the data about hundreds and thousands of trees, and we then make charts and graphs and to read about it at a glance in a second. So life is most serious business. I have told you that I will speak about how data related with risk and business and why we have actual businesses, because we need to survive, and in order to survive, we need to get money in today world, in modern world. Everything is about earning money and getting the necessary things for us to live. And life is most serious business, because if we don't live, nothing is more important. We had one end goal: to survive. That's why we should understand about opportunities around us and about the risks around us. Opportunities to improve our business and to make us survive, and the risk that creates some threats, some dangers to our life and businesses. So for this purpose, we also need data, but not only for past, but also for future. It is actually very common that from the actually at very long time ago, still people wanted to predict about future. They tried some paranormal activities
Instinctions.
Yeah, actually, some wizards and some other methods they try to predict about future.
Magical tools.
Yes, magical tools, but it is not a data-driven and realistic approach today. Happily, fortunately, we have a more realistic and data-driven approach that based on historical data that is more real. So life, gambling, and business. I have actually a question for you. What do you think? What these three things has in common? What they have in common, actually? There is no one correct answer. Every answer is acceptable.
What they have in common.
Yeah.
Let me answer first. I think maybe uncertainties.
Yeah, it is one of the answers that I thought. And is there another options? Is there another option about this question?
Risk, maybe.
Yeah,
Risk.
risk.
Nice. What else? Elvin, maybe you know. Zahrab. What's in common? Okay, uncertainties, risks, then
Okay, if there is no answer, I can continue.
I can ask ChatGPT.
Yeah, maybe it has many more options about it because it has more data than us.
Yeah, let me ask Cloud just a second. Life, gambling, and business. What they have in common? Give me a list. Okay, risk uncertainty is the first answer.
Yeah.
Probability, second, resource, pattern, emotional control, strategy, long-term thinking,
Yes.
learning from losers. Nice.
Yeah, really good answers. Actually, it is not coincidence that actually most famous math professors, actually scientists, and most famous people with known with their mathematical thinking and had some discoveries and inventions in the probability theory. They have been gamblers as well. For example, Blaise Pascal was the most famous gambler and also mathematician, because gambling is based on chance, and it was the other answer that life, gambling, business, there is always some chance factor in it, but we decrease that chance factor trying to predict more precisely. If you have more data, if you have more variables, if you know more about the world around us, in some extent we can decrease the chance factor. And as I said before, that people always try to predict about future, what will happen to them with magical tools, with other things. They always try to find some actually correlation between different things. Sometimes this correlation was false. It wasn't true, but they still try to believe in it and try to find some pattern, because when we find some pattern, it makes us feel safe about future, because pattern help us to predict. So chance, uncertainty, and decision making. Decision making is a forward-looking action. We decide about future, and in order to decide about future, we have to know about future, but we are not sure. We cannot be sure about future because we have chance factor, and we have always have uncertainties, but we try to decrease it. How we can decrease it? With data. Data is always a privilege. If we have it, we can make better decision. And even if our data is public or is known to other people, they can make better decisions about us. And that's why it is a big ethics issue today, and it makes us feel uncomfortable if someone knows about us, and he or she can make decision about us, and it is something really crazy. It feels dangerous. This is why data transparency is a big issue nowadays. We try to collect data, but if it is absent, for example, future data is always absent, we try to predict it in order to make better decisions and to consider everything while making decisions. Squid Game is my most favorite Netflix series, and
Did
that's
you
why.
watch second one?
Yes. I completed it as soon as it is on Netflix. So it has so many things about probability theory, gambling theory, and also chance, risk, and business and life. That's why it's important to me. It is really something about statistics. In Squid Game, you know that if you have watched it, you see that there is some data transparency issue. They say that it is a free will game. You are free to decide about your life. If you want to stop the game, you can do it. But it is not. It doesn't work like that. First of all, when they first came to the game, they didn't know that they will die. Maybe if they would know it, they never wouldn't come to that game and participate in it, considering the death chance. And the second point is guessing the game with some participants there, some players there, had some understanding or had some side information that isn't actually wasn't legal in terms of the game.
Insider information.
Yes, insider information they had, and it made the game actually not fair, but easy for them. It because data always is privilege, even if it is not fair, even if it is not legal, it is not ethic, it is always a privilege. And the previous relevant experience in some games, some participants, we heard that some participants said that, okay, my job was related to this, and I have experience. Experience is also data, and that's why this game is easy for me, and they won that round. They won that game because our experience is also a data. Another risk-related data point is focusing on different scenarios. Again, in Squid Game, we saw that some participants always focused on good scenarios. They always speak about future, like when I won the prize, I will go and do something. But there is only one chance there was 456 players, but only one of them could win the game. So, but all of them are so positive about the future, and they say that okay, I will win the prize and go and do my business, help my family and
Yes,
other.
they did plans during the games,
Yeah.
but nobody knows who will
Yeah.
win.
But they are so sure that it will be them, that they say that okay, I will win because I am so clever, because I am so strong and other things. But they saw as well the other participants dying simultaneously during the game, and they didn't even think about it, because it is a human brain. Actually, it's a human bias that we will talk in our next slide. It's a human bias that we as a human beings don't always think about, that bad events may happen to us as well. We always think that they could happen to other people only. But in the business, we don't have any chance to do this, because if you have a startup, if there is a startup owner here around among the listeners, I think you know about it. For example, when you apply for investment, investor is also interested in risks because it is real. And among the risks, there is a risk of dying the founder. The founder's death is always a risk, and they consider it. But we as a human beings not always think about it, not always think about bad events. But it may happen, unfortunately. That's why in business we do stress tests. We usually focus on three cases, three scenarios: the good scenario, bad scenario, and extremely bad scenario. And if something really, really bad happen, if we can bear it, that is the question for us. The fourth major issues. My very favorite writer about statistics is Nassim Nicholas Taleb. I read the one book. I am reading actually now. I read half of it, The Black Swan. And I like it because it focuses on outliers, and outliers is the main part of the data. Although we usually are intended to delete outliers while using data, because we say that it makes our data dirty, but actually it is a reality. Outlier, if it is not human mistake, if it's not an error in data or some any other case, if it's real data, it is a data, and it says us a lot. If something bad happened, it may happen again, and even if something bad hasn't happened, it may happen again. So the historical normal data doesn't mean that okay, we haven't seen a black swan so far. It doesn't mean that we won't see a black swan one day. So this book is about this. And risk management is very important, because risk management tries to cover all the risk, consider it, at least to foresee it and to do some little proactions about it. So we should focus on outliers in such cases. Unfortunately, we all have seen the fire case in Turkey in a hotel. For example, they didn't have some proactions about such type of force majeure case, because they even didn't think about fire. And that's a really risk management issue. They haven't focused on outlier, because the fire case was outlier for them.
And the case is that before there was no fire, it's like previous data. And
Yeah.
not having it in the previous one, it doesn't guarantee that you will not have it in the future. And plus, when I read about, let's say, having, using previous data for the future and having a real-time analytics, and there was such a discussion that we don't need, not always like having previous data helps you, because it gets old. Let's say behavior of people change. For example, probably for the, let's say, Azerbaijan and for the Europe, we can't rely on data which is like 2015, 2019, because there was a like change of the price of the oil before COVID-19 period. But after COVID-19 period, it really changed a lot, and behavior of people, their like spending and everything changed. So it's a really different topic. And like it really like depends. But for me, such cases is that we always should consider both sides. So you can look at the previous data, but consider that there's an unknown case, unknown issue may happen.
Yeah, always. And Nassim Nicholas Taleb said that the 11th September case has happened because no one expected it. If someone would expect it, if someone had expected it wouldn't happen, because they would take some proactions about it. And it is actually a little bit, it is a contradiction. If we expect it, it wouldn't happen. If we don't expect it, it would happen. It's something like this, but we should at least consider as much as we can think about, and consider all the cases and the percentage of probability it to happen to us, and to make decisions in that type of environment, considering that type of uncertain environment. So is all data good? We, in the previous
That's what I told you now.
we said that historical data doesn't always help us.
Yes.
It is one famous case about not all data is good. And another case is human bias. We talked about it, that if you watched at least the first season, you would understand. But if you have watched the second season of Squid Game, you would understand it better. During the voting session, they said that, okay, it is just free will. It is free decision. You are free to decide to go out. If majority says that we should go out, we should stop the game, we will do this. We will do this. So it is on your own. But before voting, they, if you remember that Piggy, what is called actually, the amount of money they have earned so far. Yes, it actually became not free will decision, because we are always dependent something around us while we decide. And sometimes people who want to direct our decisions show us some other information, related information, to make us more inclined to the decision that they want us to give.
So it's not 100% fair, right?
Yeah, so they show them the amount of money, and so they say that, okay, you are free, you can leave the game. But after seeing the amount of money, people think, okay, it's so much, maybe I have a chance to win, why not?
I remember they started to divide, let's say if it's let's say 300, I don't know, 35 billion, let's say, divided to the number of people who left, and they decided how much each person will take, and they calculated how much they have a loan and how much they will pay and how much left. So even they started to calculate other people's money, like how much they will get. So it still affects that, you know.
Yeah,
it still affects. It's not fair 100%.
They even try to kill each other in order to increase the amount of money. And of course, it became not a free will decision, because we have so many information around, we're getting so much data, and still they say that you are free to decide, but we are not free to decide. So why we buy a lottery? It's again a similar case. If you have watched the second season, you have seen this scene, but I don't want to give so much spoilers if you haven't watched. We have confirmation bias as people, as human beings, because even if we are focused on so much negative events, because our brain is proactive and protective. It works like in order to protect us from dangers and to make us live as long as possible. But still, as a human beings, we should get some hope around the world. And in order to protect that hope inside us, despite of some negative issues, we should have this confirmation bias. It's a very natural thing. And this confirmation bias sometimes makes us to give bad decisions about future. For example, buying a lottery is one of them. Maybe consciously we know that it is very, very, very low probability to win some money and a big amount, a real considerable amount money from the lottery. But some of us still try it. And we don't buy other necessary things, but with that money we go and buy a lottery ticket to win in the game. But of course we cannot, because the probability is so low. But our confirmation bias says that, okay, for the next time you can do this, for the next time, maybe for the next time you will win in the lottery. And it is also applied to the Squid Game. They always thought that, okay, so many people died, maybe, of course there is always probability that I will die in this game, but what if I will win? So black cat and bad luck. It is another example, great example, and historically very famous example of confirmation bias. Actually, Black Cat is also named for very famous story by Edgar Allan Poe. It is a horror story, and there in that story they also spoke about the bad luck of black cats. The people didn't want to see black cats because they believe that it brings bad luck. But it's a confirmation bias. Some people tries to justify it that, in several cases I saw a black cat, and for example I had a bad interview, or I broke my leg when I saw a black cat. But it's a confirmation bias. We always face some negative issues, but when we see such type of things and we believe that it is the main cause that bad events happen to us, we try to find some correlation, because human brain tries to find meaning in every meaningless thing, because our brain is story oriented and correlation oriented. We want to find a correlation, but sometimes we use it for false things, like trying to correlate bad luck with black cat.
Let's speed up and finish in 6 minutes.
Okay,
so
okay.
15 minutes we have question answer.
Mm-hmm. So do we collect relevant data? When we try to collect data, we should focus on representativeness. For example, if in our population we have 50% women and 50% men, we should have that proportion in our sample as well. We should choose random data, and to forget our confirmation bias, we just try to choose random examples. And selection bias, in order to get over selection bias, we try to organize a good survey that everyone can participate in this. Survivorship bias, we always focus on positive cases, but we should try to be more objective about it. And availability bias, sometimes we try to follow some data that is available, that is not available, and it also distorts the results of our decision making. So too big to fail case in 2008, Lehman Brothers, it is also a confirmation bias and survivorship bias, that they thought that, okay, big banks never fail, but they have failed. So how
they
to be
failed
objective?
more even after COVID as well. Three famous banks.
Yeah.
Because they say too big to fail to the fund companies like Facebook, Amazon, Google.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah. how to be more objective. I have collected some statistical notions that if you learn about it and if you develop yourself in that field, you somehow can be more objective. One of it is distributions. Try to learn different distributions. First of all, the normal distribution itself, and it makes you better in understanding how the world around us actually works. So one of them is time series analysis. Historical data helps us in some extent, despite of outliers, and that's why learn time series analysis and try to make decision makings based on history and develop your decision-making skills in that field. Black swans, besides the historical data, also consider the outliers and try to learn how you handle it, how you can handle it. Hypothesis testing is important thing. Don't forget about the p-value bias. Also investigate about it, that even you have a good hypothesis testing, how can p-value fool you in some hypothesis testing cases. A correlation and causation. You can find some correlation between events, but it doesn't always mean that they are really caused each other. So try to investigate about this topic as well. It will give you really good insight about data. Besides this objectivity trials, still our brain is subjective because it's also a natural machine, like other machine learning tools. Our brain is a natural machine that learns from past and generate patterns, and it is hard to retrain it because we have fixed beliefs in us. But with additional data and with the intent of change, we always can change our false learnings. So thanks for listening. And if you enjoyed this presentation, you can follow my blog post page as well.
Great. Thanks, Tara. That was really great. That to check about data and bias, even like you talk not from the, let's say, fully from theory part, but with the real examples. Yeah. Any questions now we have? Hamida, Sabina, Rola, Elvin. Elvin, keep the camera open, full meeting. Thanks. Thank you for presenting. Let's take some questions that we had from the forum, in the application forum, and what people are asking. People are asking that, what do you think about the role of AI in understanding and analyzing big data?
Mm-hmm. So big data and AI, actually, big data is what we call structured and unstructured data, the data lakes, database, everything in it. In Azerbaijan, actually, we don't have too much more because we are not working so many unstructured data. Most data is in tabular form.
Structured bank, and then what we have, insurance, maybe.
But actually, the companies that works with big data also uses AI in some extent. But there is one very important issue that AI still is a subject to information security problems. And big data is a data that you don't even know what is in it. It's too complex, complicated, and too large. And there is always an information security issue to apply AI to big data because it is a tool that you don't know how it works, how it collects data from you, and apply what politics for data privacy. And you applying it to a data that you don't know what is in it. It is dangerous. But if it is an AI tool that you developed inside the company, it is good to apply because big data is really a big data and it is hard to handle with human effort.
Nice. Then Elvin asks, what do you think about the data storage and the energy consumption related to protecting this data? So you mean energy consumption going up?
Yeah, actually, it is also an environmental case. It is also an ESG topic. It's an environmental social governance of. It is a part of risk management today, environmental risk, and this ChatGPT, this AI tools, this big data. Of course, it's a big part of that climate change, and it make our environment more and more dirty time by time. It is a there is always a term about data pollution. How we handle it nowadays? The best practice is to delete unnecessary data time by time. Each data element actually in the company has its own retention period. For example, some of them is for 5 years, some of them is for 10 years, some of them is 2 years, and you should delete it in the sake of decreasing your energy consumption and your own company cost, as well as the environmental pollution. And also this AI tools and ChatGPT and the cloud technologies uses water consumption. I hope that I don't have enough information about it, but I hope that they recycle this water inside the company. But if they doesn't, it is a big problem that the sweet water sources decrease day by day. And the best way is delete what you don't need anymore. And it is also applied to individually as that delete unnecessary mails, delete unnecessary images from your phone, and every unnecessary thing, and it helps environment much more.
Yeah, I'm still thinking to delete my old emails, but still they.
Yeah.
Because I got a paid drive from the Google, and I still keep them. But what I do now, I didn't delete old ones, but even they are not so much. What I do now, whatever I don't need, I delete immediately.
Yes,
I don't keep them. I
it is a
delete.
good way.
I don't wait till they collect and I do it at once, but I do continuously every day, and keep zero email, zero email box. There's a such phrase, everyone, zero inbox or something.
Yeah.
Okay, the next question: how do you connect accounting and data analytics? I will answer it. If you read Job Report 2025, World Economic Forum, accounting is one of the tools that one of the, let's say, topics that will be automated by AI and so it's really. Let me tell you another example as well. I live in Poland now. Here, before, the number of accounting jobs were insane, so much, but after this AI stuff, AI boom, and during one year, the number of AI is the number of finance accounting related jobs decrease. So I don't see so much than before. Not before it was so much, and now they either have an AI for that, or two people can do work with AI of 5 people. So this is the case. So it's not like fully automated, but most of it.
And actually, I want to add that when I first came to data analytics fair, I thought that, okay, this is so unrelated. I should have studied computer science. I now study computer science in my master degree online, but at that time I felt so inferior about it. But then I saw that actually most of the people around me also came from accounting and finance sphere, because accounting is also about numbers. Data is also about numbers, mainly in Azerbaijan, for example. For banks, most of the data are numbers. So it is related. Actually, you still do some computings and analytics on it.
Now it's more numbers and more, as I see, about tools.
Yeah.
It's mainly, but I think it will shift to the business side as well, because now at the end, what's that? It's a business. It provides service to customer.
Yeah.
Customer pays for the problem solved by the business. So at the end, this gets service, customer, the business gets money.
Yeah.
Then many people ask that I don't have experience how to start an analyst job, how to start data analyst or data science. So if you have such a question to discuss about them, either write to Stara or you can write to me as well. Even you can take a free meeting, Google Calendar link that I have sent to the chat, because there are so many emails and it's mainly business analyst, data analyst, data science. We can't answer all. Data science and IT business analyst, will they merge in the future as a role? I don't think so.
No, actually, because there are different jobs. Actually, IT business analyst is a somehow translator job that translates business needs from other business domains to data team or other IT team, for example, to backend team.
Almost, yes.
Yes,
Almost.
and because it's a job that should understand also about the business domain and about IT or relevant data or backend in what sphere actually he or she works. But data science is specifically data science job.
Okay. And yeah, and other questions also about that learning new skills we want, and we are transferred to the data and what to do, what to learn. Maybe let's each of us give opinion about it, and then we can finish. You can start, Stara.
Okay, when I first started, I start to find practical courses, because practicing everything. If you don't practice hands-on, you would actually forget it after a few times. And that's why just try to find some practical courses. Maybe try some exercise in HackerRank, free code camp to improve your skills using programming languages. And also you can find some data sets from Kaggle and work on it, because when you see a real data case, you find some insights and you improve your analytical skills that, okay, it's a real problem and I should have a real solution to it. And that's my advice to improve such skills.
Okay, what about you, Elvin? What do you think? You're a trainer as well. Okay, you're typing. How to start analyst? Yeah. Okay, you can type. Maybe I answer, you can type at that time. So for me, whoever starts to the data and business analysis, data analysis, doesn't matter. I see that people are too focused on the tools itself rather than trying to solve the real problem and to create a solution based, let's say, create solutions that stakeholders want.
Yeah.
For example, if stakeholders want a really nice dashboard, so you have to give them nice dashboard. But sometimes they don't want a nice dashboard. They just want a simple dashboard that has too many, let's say, filters and too much functionality, but not as nice as a UI, UX UI. So yes, but I think that you should focus on business as well, understand what's the requirement, who is the stakeholder, and why you are doing it. Why you do what you do, not to the sake of doing a SQL analysis, Excel or something, but rather than to getting to working on it and at the end having a solution, real solution, real outcome. This is what I would recommend people who just start. Elvin, you're typing? Okay. So yeah, and that's it. Again, if you want to meet with Stara, talk about your, let's say, your how to start your career, analyst career, just write to her, or you can book meeting or write to me as well. It's a free, no worries, no paid. We can help you, and if you want, you can be active in our community as well. And thank you, Stara, for joining, for coming. That was very nice. Great.
Thank you for the invitation. It was a nice day, nice speech for me. It was good to have a great time with you and to share my insights. Hopefully, it will be beneficial for you as well.
Welcome. Great. And